Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming out. As Lisa said, my name is Dave Shostal. I served for 15 years as Randy's Chief of Staff. I survived the 15 years. Thank you very much. Well, Randy's going to be talking a lot about the federal and provincial elements of this. I'm going to talk to you about the municipal elements just for a few minutes. While what we're mostly exposed to is the rot at the top, because that's what gets the mainstream media attention. Well, it doesn't get the mainstream media attention. That's what gets popular attention, because that's where the problems seem to all lie. But the reality is that stuff has all trickled from the bottom up. The problem originates at our municipal councils. With politicians, we tend to have too many lawyers and too many career politicians. We don't have enough electricians, plumbers, tradespeople, people who actually live and work in the real world applying for these jobs. What we're trying to do with this organization I put together, the Municipal Reform Project, is we're trying to encourage communities to recruit the Randy Hilliers of their community, the independent-minded, freedom-driven individuals in their community who are good enough to do the job, encourage them to run for the job. And if you can find those people, you send them to me, and I'm going to train them on how to win an election. I'm going to train them on how to be a good politician, what your responsibilities are to the people who elected you to represent them. And we're going to work towards ending a trend that's happened in municipal politics for far too long. That's where we've got the tail wagging the dog. What we're seeing in municipalities across Ontario, and for clarification, my experience with municipalities, the first iteration of Randy's riding was Lanark, Frontenac, Lennox, and Addington. We had 16 municipalities in that riding. That was 16 mayors and councils that we had to deal with. The most recent iteration, which was Lanark, Frontenac, Kingston, we had 13. So lots of experience dealing with municipalities. And what I discovered under observation is that, again, the tail is wagging the dog. You've got this administrative staff that was all trained in leftist post-secondary institutions that come in with leftist ideals and socialist ideals, and they come into the administration of a municipality. All of these municipal people are trained the same place, so this gets replicated across municipalities. Then we have an election, and we elect people to represent us. Those people get into office. Most of them don't have a lot of experience in politics. They got involved in municipal politics because they didn't want that landfill site, or they did want that development to happen. That's why they got involved. They may have got involved because they don't grade my road enough, and damn it, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go out and make sure they get my road graded because I'm going to sit on that council. But once they get elected, it is the staff that trains them how to do their jobs. And it is less training and more of, this is how you're going to do your job. And I've seen it. So you'll get a counselor who'll say, well, I've got questions about this, or I have questions about that. You can ask your questions, but you're going to adopt what we put on the agenda. Go ahead and ask your questions, but this is what we're doing. And the staff has said so. And it's a very, very rare occasion that you can change that. Because the elected people, there's two problems. One, most of the elected people don't realize that they have some power and authority they've been elected to, and if they could only use it and would only use it, they could affect the change they're looking for. The few times that we have had elected municipal, and I'm sure you've all heard stories like this, the few times we've had municipal councillors who will stand up and actually do the job they were elected to do, the staff files integrity complaints against them. This councillor's harassing me. Why? Because they asked you to do your job? This councillor's harassing me. Why? Because you missed the deadline that you were paid to meet? That's got to end, because the integrity commissioner is always an employee, usually the lawyer, of the municipality. He's going to side on the people who butter his bread, and that's the council. So if you've got, let's say, a council of 7, and you've got maybe 3 freedom-leaning, conservative-leaning candidates and or elected representatives, and 4, we'll say left, liberal, socialist, whatever. The lawyer is going to, if they decide that, you know what, we just want to push those 3 out, we want to reduce their authority, their ability, the other 4 have the ability to do that. So now the voice that you elected has been totally silenced. We're seeing this repeated over and over again. So again, with the Municipal Reform Project, what we're looking for is we're asking communities across Ontario, like-minded people, like the people we have in this room, find the right people you want to represent you. Encourage them to run. Send them to us. We will train them to win elections. We will train them to be effective and honest politicians who understand their role and responsibility in representing the people who elected them. Unfortunately, in my excitement to get here tonight, I forgot my business cards. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, just see me afterwards and I'll share my contact information on how you can get a hold of me. We're looking for interest across Ontario to try and get some real change to happen. Because don't forget, how many of these municipal councillors do we see move on to provincial politics? And then they move on to federal politics. Wouldn't you like it to be the right people that are moving up that ladder? Because that's how we fix federal and provincial politics, by going where they start. Thank you very much for your time.